And US President Joe Biden to address the United Nations General Assembly. At the summit, President Biden will push back against the idea that the United States is plunging into a new Cold War with key rivals including China and Russia. Reports even suggest that Biden will instead stress diplomacy and vigorous competition in his speech at the annual UN summit. Now, senior White House official told news agency AFP, and I'm quoting here, President Biden will communicate that he does not believe in the notion of a new Cold War with the world divided into blocs. He believes in vigorous, intensive, principled competition. The president will essentially drive home the message that ending the war in Afghanistan closed the chapter focused on war and opens a chapter focused on personal, purposeful, effective American diplomacy. This, in fact, was later confirmed by the White House press secretary.
He will make absolutely clear that he is not looking to pursue a new Cold War with any country in the world. We will continue to pursue our interests. We will continue to lift up global priorities, but that is not the objective or the policy of the United States.
In his first address to the United Nations as president, Biden will stress that Washington will work with allies and partners to solve problems that can't be solved by military forces. U.S. President Joe Biden also met with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres in New York ahead of his first speech as president at the UNGA. Biden said a strong partnership with the UN was more important now than ever, that no one country can solve key problems alone.
And the Secretary General and I share a strong commitment to the principles of human freedom and human dignity on which the UN was founded. I went back and reread the charter. I remember we sometimes forget what the founding principles were, not you, but we, the world. Every UN member state likewise has an obligation to uphold those fundamental commitments and that we've all made. And normally the task is already ahead for each one of us, and it's real.
Following his UNGA address, President Biden will meet Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison in New York before returning to Washington to meet British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Remember, the UNGA takes place less than a month after the US withdrawal from Afghanistan, ending a 20-year war. The speech gives Biden his biggest opportunity yet to talk about the direction of US foreign policy, following criticism at home and abroad that the US troop withdrawal from Afghanistan in August was chaotic and poorly planned, leaving behind some US citizens and Afghan allies who could face reprisals from the Taliban. Meanwhile, top officials of the US-backed government have fled Afghanistan. It will be a challenging week for President Biden that will be dominated by foreign policy. Amid questions about his handling of the US pullout from Afghanistan, he is also likely to face questions on a nuclear submarine deal with Australia that has angered France. President Biden will also host the first in-person summit of the leaders of the Quad grouping, which will be attended by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison and Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga. At the UNGA, President Biden will also issue an all-hands-on-deck call for global cooperation to end the COVID-19 pandemic that has ravaged the world since early 2020. President Biden will also highlight US commitments on climate change. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.